Hi, this is no ordinary voice of spiritual ventriloquism. You are listening to Dummy himself. Well, I caught the news clip. I was too busy, tilling the garden, hoeing hilling up the corn. So if another 75-mile-an-hour wind comes down through this hollow, it doesn't permanently lay it down. So I missed the event of the season. Which just so happened to be the first Democratic debate live. You know, it's amazing. They're going to have to change their venue here before long because these indoor venues are not going to work. They're going to have to rent a football stadium in order to accommodate the number of podiums that they're going to have to put in place because they got what? 18 to 24 people running for president in the Democratic Party against someone who hasn't even really at this juncture been even challenged, which tells me that despite his lack of popularity in the polls, wink, wink, Donald Trump is a shoo-in to win the 2020 general election. Now, the amazing thing of it is that the Democratic Party, why they have to field so many candidates, it's like, I don't know what their rationale is behind this. It's almost like they're going down to the beer store and making sure that they take all of your money and buy all of the lottery tickets so that when the drawing happens tonight or Friday night or Saturday night, whatever it is, and they win, then they can gloat and pat themselves on the back and high five each other about how they won the lottery, which just so happens to be the U.S. Presidential election. It seems to be whoever can buy the most tickets these days, and politics is the one who ends up getting the most votes. Well, anyway, the Democratic Party, the reason the Democratic Party has to field such a plethora of candidates is because the Democratic Party in this country has lost its way. They are literally at this point, you're watching them chew their own arms off like a muskrat that's got his tail or his leg caught in a trap. He'd rather gnaw his own damn leg off, than to just succumb to being in the trap. So now you got these three-legged muskrats running around. And obviously, they're going to apply for some sort of disability benefits in the near future. So anyway, the animal rights activist candidate, I didn't hear him bark or meow or moo or bah in the news clip. So I don't know which one of them is actually the animal rights advocate. There was probably a vegetarian amongst them. Obviously some Hispanic supporters. They're as a matter of fact, one began to speak in Spanish, obviously addressing his constituency or what he thinks is his constituency. And then the other one seemed to have gotten jealous and began to speak in Spanish too, trying to woo the other supporters away from the other guy. It's really funny. It's amazing. The Democratic Party has no constituency. They are lost. They are clueless. They are so fragmented from special interests that they don't even know who the hell they are anymore. And that is really, really funny. Because, at one time, the Democratic Party in this country, we'll say 50 years ago, maybe even 40 years ago, we'll even go for a most recent moment and say 30 years ago, the Democratic Party actually gave a shit about their constituency, and that was the blue-collar, Joe Six-Pack working American. They weren't fettered with all of these special interests that cause drags and cause fractionalizations amongst their constituency. And what they're hoping for is some type of come to Jesus moment with, the trans and the animal rights activists and the immigration people and all of that, or the undocumented people and stuff like that. What they're hoping for is to have some come to Jesus moment that everybody is going to, what do you say? Think world peace. Okay. it's not going to happen. I just see this as just another run up for the American corporations, another run up for the Republicans. And the reason I believe that is because the Democrats have ceased to represent their constituency, and now they're so fragmented they have no constituency at all. And for all of you labor people out there who are still entertaining delusions that these people really are interested in your, your rank and file people, you are delusional. Maybe in 10 years when Bill Clinton, or 5 years or 10 years when Bill Clinton decides he's fixing to kick the bucket, writes his second memoirs, autobiography, or whatever, he's probably, along with his wife, are going to write about how NAFTA was a very bad decision, and if they had to do it all over again, they wouldn't have gone that way. Well, talk is cheap, especially after the money's passed under the table, and you go up there, some poor, broke governor of Arkansas that ain't got a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of, and then you leave Washington a multi-millionaire. But there's no conflict of interest in that. The Democratic Party has no constituency. And the Republican Party, they do have a constituency and always has had a constituency. The Republican Party's constituency is corporate America and multinational corporations and banks and insurance companies and anybody who's actually turning the dollars. That is who the Republicans represent. That's who they've always represented. That's who they always will represent. Oh, yeah, once in a while they throw the milk bone dog biscuit to the average Republican who thinks that, it's the party of morals and things like that. And they'll throw the abortion dog biscuit. We're going to, outlaw abortion, or we're going to, we're going to put up a wall. And that's another thing. The wall, are you serious? This is funny. This is absolutely laughable because last week they just bring up reparations for slaves in Congress. And should slaves have been repatriated? Yes, they should have. Should their descendants have been reparated? Oh, yeah. But this should have happened 100 years ago. Okay? I mean, damn. It's great to bring something up right now when you ain't got the money, unless you print more of it, of course, and make it worthless. So then everybody will be a multimillionaire on paper. It's easy to bring that up now when you can't pay for it. I mean, hell, President Trump can't even get money, was it like $5 or $6 billion to build a wall to keep the Mexicans off their own land. I mean, really? You're going to repatriate the slaves or the descendants of the slaves, and you can't even build a wall to keep the Mexicans off their own land? What about their repatriation? Is that next? What about the Amerindians who got stuck on reservations? What about that? When's that going to come? I mean, are we just going to go ahead and turn the whole earth back over to the original owners of it? Well, this is exactly the path that the Democratic Party is venturing down. Okay, and they know they ain't going to make it happen. It's not going to happen. Okay, stop wasting your breath. These people up in Washington don't love you, regardless of what color your skin is. Okay, they don't love you. Okay? And I will just say this. This is the best that politics is getting to. Then we are in a serious, fun ride of some of the most schizophrenic political rhetoric you have ever witnessed on the face of the earth, and probably never will ever witness again. Have a good night.